trying to sway you cause I ain't got all the answers. I'm just trying to convey to you, I be taking some chances. If my shit don't pertain to you, you can check out your man shit. You ain't teach us a damn thing, you ain't give us the game. We was giving you signals, but you ain't give us a name.
Welcome to another episode of I Don't Have the Answers, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm your host, Tim the Answer Man 4, and I appreciate you joining me this week. This week we're going to talk about change. And no, we're not going to talk about changing your hairstyle or changing your looks or even changing your clothes. We're going to talk about how we support one another when somebody else is going through a change. Like, for instance, when your spouse is going through a change or getting ready to deal with a change and she's not handling it well. No, not my wife. This is just stuff that I have observed. So I thought it was a good idea to talk about those things. Now why? Why would I talk about change and why we need to support one another? Well, to be honest, we're not all the same. Me personally, I deal with change rather well. My life has been one giant roller coaster, going from one thing to another, and I had to adapt. I had to deal with change quickly. My mother likes to joke and point out the fact that I moved many times from one home to another, and all I took with me were a couple garbage bags full of clothing. That's it. It's kind of scary that I got used to it and got so good at it. But I dealt with change a lot growing up and as a young adult. Hard to believe me being young, but not everybody had to deal with that. Some people grew up in the same house all their life until they left to go to college. Then they bought their first house and stayed in that house for many, many years. And they're not used to the situational changes that happen to everybody else. And for whatever reason, when they do encounter change, they don't handle it well. So it's our job as their significant other, as their parent or sibling or best friend, to be there for them and to help them out. So I've come up with a few things that I would like to recommend for those of you paying attention. This is the time to get out your pens and paper so you can take notes. Or you can just rewind this and play it again. And rewind this and play it again. And rewind this and play it again. So the first one is, as the partner, it is your job to identify when an important change is going to happen. Why is it my job, Tim? Well, oftentimes the person that is dealing with a change has got to a point where they're denying it. Even if they're in the middle of it, they're denying that it's happening. And they're not going to tell you. So you have to pay attention to context clues. When they're getting a little stressed about a specific subject, or when anything resembling their change starts to come up in conversation, they change it. So it's your job to identify those things. That means that we have to put down the game controller, put down the cell phone, and focus on one another. I know that's difficult, but it is our job. Next, reassure your partner that you will help them manage the change. I didn't say anything about doing it for them or being their crutch. You're going to help them manage. And it's important that you reassure them. So that means that it's going to happen more than once. It's the very definition of reassure. I'm sure that that's not the only definition, but you can understand what I'm saying. Next, this is important, so underline this one, put a couple bold marks on it, maybe a little star or something. You're there to offer support, not a solution. Yes, I just said that. That was actually kind of deep, wasn't it? You're there to offer support, not a solution. It's not our job to fix everything. We're just supposed to be there to help them on the way through this change. Whatever change it may be, it's our job to help them. Next, listen for your cue to react. I said that nice and slow. Maybe some of you in the back didn't hear it. I said listen for your cue to react. Now, remember what I said about putting down the controller and putting down the cell phone? You can't listen to nothing if you're not paying attention. So, listen for your cue to react. They're going to let you know when it's your turn. They're going to let you know when it's time for you to swoop in, put your arm around them, and say, this is what we should do. Do not, I say again, do not start right off the bat by doing things. It's not going to help. Let them tell you or they can say it out loud, they can say it literally, or you can, again, pay attention and offer your support. Again, see the support thing I did say? When it's time. Some of you out there need to hear this next one 6 or 7 times. Our job is to comfort, not criticize. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. Comfort, not criticize. What that means is, just because you can handle whatever change is being thrown at you, doesn't mean that they are to be criticized for the fact that they can't. You can't make fun of them. You can't talk down to them. You can't belittle them. It's not right. You comfort them when they're crying in the middle of the night because they don't know what to do next. You comfort them. When they get home from work and they're so stressed out because all they've done for the last 20 minutes while they've been sitting in traffic dealing with all the other ridiculous things on their list, they've been stressing about it. You help them. Because, let's face it, there's going to be times when something you can't handle has slapped you smack in the face. And they're going to be there doing the same for you. So, let's recap. What are we going to do? We're going to identify that there's a problem. Not a serious problem. A change that's happening. You're going to reassure them that you're there to help them manage that change. You're going to offer support, not a solution. You're not there to fix things. You're going to listen for your cue to react. And you're going to comfort, not criticize. Now, I'm not telling you all these things saying that when you follow these steps, you're going to miraculously end up in a winning situation and nothing's going to happen bad. No. What I'm saying is by taking these simple steps, and yes, they are simple, you're going to have a stronger relationship. You're going to have a stronger bond. And I assure you, you're going to have a lot less fighting because the change is happening. And what's going to happen is you're going to become closer as a couple, as a family, as a father and son, as a sibling, because you paid attention. This is going to help you in much, much, much bigger things as you get on in your life. Do not forget these tips. Now, it is quite possible that I am full of baloney and I am wrong. If so, please feel free to let me know. Or you can pay attention to what I just said because you know that it's true. And the next time somebody in your life is going through a change, you'll be the one that helps them through it. Thank you all for paying attention today. Please don't forget to put your phones down. Pay attention to one another. Of course, I don't have all the answers. join me next week, because I'm not talking about it anyway. Thank you.
The boy is off Broadway.
It's off Broadway. World watch.
Welcome to I Don't Have All the